Hi everyone and welcome back to our daily update. Today we have a jam-packed array of top news stories, so let's dive right in. We begin with the concerning trend in market figures as the latest data reveals a widening trade gap for India in April 2024. While merchandise exports did see a slight increase of 1.07% to $35 billion, imports surged by a significant 10.3% to $54.1 billion. As a result of this disarray, India's trade deficit widened to a 4-month high of $19.1 billion. What's particularly striking is the year-on-year surge in Apple's trade deficit, primarily driven by a significant increase in gold imports, which more than doubled compared to the previous month, reaching $3.11 billion. Additionally, there was a 20.2% rise in the oil import bill, totaling $2.8 billion. This widening trade gap is a cause of concern as it puts pressure on the Indian rupee and affects the country's foreign exchange reserves. The government might need to take measures to curb non-essential imports and incentivize exports to bridge this gap. Moving on, the Supreme Court of India made a significant ruling regarding the arrest of Prabir Purkayastha, the founder and editor of NewsClick. The court declared Purkayastha's arrest under the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act as invalid, citing a lack of grounds provided for his arrest. The ruling highlighted the violation of Article 22(1) of the Constitution, which mandates informing the arrested person of the grounds of arrest. The court clarified that filing a charge sheet after the arrest doesn't validate the illegality of the arrest itself. Following the Supreme Court's decision, Prabir was released from the Tihar jail along with the bail bond of 1 lakh rupees. Additionally, he is prohibited from contacting witnesses or discussing the case merits. This judgment reaffirms the importance of due processes and highlights the need of stricter adherence to legal proceedings by the law enforcement agencies. In another development, the Special Court in Karnataka granted bail to former Minister H.D. Revanna, the primary suspect in an alleged abduction case. However, the court observation raises questions about the investigation's thoroughness. The Special Investigation Team of the Criminal Department came under scrutiny for delaying the recording of the victim's statement by 4 to 5 days. Additionally, the court found no justification for invoking the more severe kidnapping for ransom, Section 364A of the Indian Penal Code against Mr. Revanna. It suggested that Section 362 of the IPC, abduction by force or deceitful means, might be a more suitable charge based on available evidence. While bail has been granted, these observations cast doubt on the investigation's speed and direction. Questions remain regarding the lack of supporting evidence for an alleged attempt to shield Mr. Revanna's son, accused of sexual assault. Shifting our focus to social issues, the National Commission for Scheduled Castes, Tamil Nadu and Puducherry has issued notices to Puducherry government and JIPMER authorities regarding allegations of harassment. These allegations raised by junior resident doctors include caste abuse, physical harm and even abandonment to suicide during their stay in PG residency. They also questioned the fairness of MD General Medical Professional Exit Exam and demanded a re-examination. While JIPMER formed a fact-finding committee, the results haven't been communicated to the complainants. The NCSC has initiated an investigation under Article 338 of the Constitution, issuing notices to key authorities and seeking an action taken report within 15 days. Failure to respond within the stipulated time may result in Commission exercising civil court powers. This case highlights the need to ensure a safe and inclusive environment within education institutions, especially for students from vulnerable communities. Moving on, India's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar has defended the Chabahar port project in Iran, emphasizing its potential to benefit the entire region. This comes amidst concerns raised by the United States regarding potential sanctions on companies involved in the India-Iran joint venture. Jaishankar points out past US appreciation for Chabahar's role in facilitating trade with landlocked Afghanistan. However, delays in the recently signed agreement due to negotiations and changes in the joint venture partner in the Iranian side have complicated matters. The minister went further, criticizing US and Western media for attempting to influence Indian elections and control the narrative. It's important to remember that US previously granted exemptions for Chabahar due to its significance for Afghan reconstruction. However, need for communication and understanding for mutual benefits remain, as clarity on potential impacts of sanctions from US Embassy in Delhi is awaited. In a shocking turn of events, Slovakia's Prime Minister Robert Fico was shot multiple times after a government meeting in Handlova. Fico is in critical condition and has been airlifted to Banska Bristika for treatment. Police have detained the attacker, but the motive remains unclear. Prime Minister Fico, a four-time leader, has faced criticism for his pro-Kremlin foreign policy along with his advocacy for Ukraine to compromise with Russia. His anti-Ukraine rhetoric, including halting weapon shipments to Ukraine, have strained relations with neighboring countries. Despite these tensions, Ukrainian President Zelensky condemned the shooting and wished Fico a speedy recovery. This incident highlights the volatile political climate in Central Europe, especially considering the ongoing war in Ukraine. Switching gears, WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange faces extradition to the US on charges related to publishing classified diplomatic and military cables. With a potential prison term of up to 175 years, his case has sparked controversy and debate. Assange's wife Stella and his supporters maintain that the case is politically motivated with accusations of bias and unfair procedures. The upcoming hearing in the UK High Court will be crucial as Assange appeals to extradition order. Earlier this year, the High Court allowed Assange to appeal if the US guaranteed to avoid the death penalty and uphold his First Amendment rights. Despite assurance from the US, concerns remained about Assange's right and the broader implication of press freedom. Adding to the complexity, the Australian government and Prime Minister have called for dropping the charges completely, and this request is currently under consideration by Biden administration. Assange is currently held in Belmarsh prison and awaits his hearing. If his appeal is rejected, he could potentially take his case to the European Court of Human Rights. Moving to the Middle East, the European Union has urged Israel to end its military operation in Gaza's Rafah district immediately, emphasizing the need to adhere to international humanitarian law. The EU warns that continued action could strain relations with Israel and condemned the Hamas attack on the Karam Shalom border crossing, which obstructed humanitarian aid deliveries. Meanwhile, in Europe, the war in Ukraine continues at a critical stage. Ukrainian forces have withdrawn from some areas in the northeast, and President Zelensky has postponed foreign trips to address the situation. To bolster Ukraine's defense, the US Secretary of State Anthony Blinken pledged $2 billion in weapon support. However, Russian troops have launched an offensive in Kharkiv region, causing civilian displacement. This back-and-forth territorial control and conflicting reports highlights the complexity of the situation on the ground. And that's all the time we have for today. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more such updates. This is Chronicle Daily, signing off.